Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Watch This to Know What Yoga Means and 3 Tips to Become Wise from Gaur Das. So this is a pretty short video, so I decided to do 2 of them. So I'm kind of curious as to what does he think yoga means. So anyways, this is the first one. Let's go ahead and get started.
To remain peaceful, to remain stable in the middle of chaos is impossible unless you are deeply connected to a source of peace, to a source of stability.
Interesting. Source of peace didn't connect to me. Source of stability did. Reason why? Because this is what everyone says. All gurus, swamis, and a lot of people in the comments. What is your true nature? Forever unchanging and unaffected. Stability. That is stability. Something that's always consistently there, is consistently the same and never changing, never affected. It is very consistent. Connect yourself with something stable. Interesting.
Yoga is a tradition, a culture, a set of values, a set of beliefs that can truly help us deal with much larger issues in the world than fitness. Life is not going to be ideal. There's always going to be some tire that will need more attention than the other. Sometimes your health needs more attention. Sometimes your spouse needs more attention. Sometimes your work needs more attention. And yet sometimes your friends need more attention. It's always going to change. Life is very dynamic. I think to me, it's not doing new things. It's doing the same things rightly.
Yeah.
That's what really brings results.
Yeah.
We don't need to try new things into our practice. If we have a practice and we focus on our practice and keep doing it, honing it, refining it constantly, that's when it starts paying back.
Yeah.
Excellence pays back.
I will make an addition there because I know some people cannot necessarily do the same things over and over again. But I will say to find a unique, a consistent way of dealing with issues, regardless of what issues those are. This applies to everything in life that you do that's different. So when you tackle a problem, and that's doing something different, any kind of different thing that you do, you have a consistent way of how to tackle and understand it. Because he was talking about how you do this. Why do new things when you can do the same thing consistently? And I think there are some people out there who probably would like to do new things all the time. But to find this and to focus on this way of dealing with new issues, you become very good at that. You can become very good at that. Just it's I know Sadhguru talks about things being in patterns, circular patterns. So even these new things that we deal with, it all has a pattern to it. One person hyper focuses and hyper specializes in something to get really good at it. You may not be good at any individual things, but you could be very good at being able to tackle the initial problems with everything that's new. And then from there, you may not be able to make that run very efficiently, but you can take care of the initial problems to let someone else refine it to something very efficient, or whatever that is. So basically, they may not be able to jump right into something and handle the problems right away. That's something that you can do. Someone who's able to jump from one thing to another and able to solve the initial problems. That may have went a little far, but I'm just trying to get another perspective in there for people who may not want to do the same things over and over again, but who prefer to jump from one thing to another. There's still a sense of stability there, of problem solving, of, even though it's a new problem, it's all still kind of basis. It still has a basis that you start from. So, okay, let's find out what's the cause or the root issue of the problem.
And imagine if we can spread this awareness. Imagine if we can incorporate the philosophy of yoga, which teaches sensitivity beyond any religion or region, beyond any sect or faith, beyond any caste or culture or creed. Imagine if it's a part of the curriculum all over the globe where we actually teach people how to deal with every aspect of life, including inanimate things, sensitively. We probably are then looking at reversing, if not reversing, improving the current scenario that we face.
Okay, so maybe he didn't exactly name it, but he did touch up on a lot of ideas. I don't know the exact precise meaning of yoga because there's so many different yogas out there. So, but I think Sadhguru says yoga is unity, is it not? Or am I thinking of something else? I believe it says unity, which, if that's being the idea, I think would definitely help. Again, Advaita Vedanta, something that I go to a lot of is, and more along the lines of being able to separate yourself from your emotions and being able to see who you truly are. And the reason why I do quotes is because I think a lot of people will have have trouble seeing, say, the Atman or Brahman as themselves. But even if we were to say that they are a part of the mind, something that's tangible, something that is a little bit easier to grasp and easier for people to accept, and just say, yeah, they're this thing in the brain. The emotion is something separate. The thoughts are something separate. The body is something separate. The rest of the brain is something separate. That's at least a start. And now some people might say that's completely false. You're still teaching them the wrong thing, but it's at least a step in the right direction. Because it still gets them to thinking about emotions and thoughts and body and I won't say mind, but the brain as something different. Because that's all still part of yoga, but there's just still that one thing missing of you're still part of the brain in terms of Advaita Vedanta. But for me, I go there just because it's something that's easily, you don't have to explain so much to teach someone about it. So they can start this progress of less suffering. I guess that's, again, and this is something I say, I want to be able to try to find a way to reduce suffering. I don't think I can ever find a way to end suffering. And teaching someone Advaita Vedanta, or, man, that sounds weird when I say Advaita Vedanta, but anyways, teaching that is just something that takes a long time, I think, for a lot of people. And I guess this is a quick fix, you know? But at least it's a start. And then should they pursue further, and I'd definitely tell them about Advaita Vedanta, Karma Bhakti, Jnana, and Raja Yoga. You know, if they want to pursue that, to see what they like and what they want to pursue further into. But to, at the very least, start the end of suffering. Kind of like how Gaur here says about getting people into yoga. Imagine if we just started it alone, would probably help. And Sadhguru talks about 10%. If only we get 10% of the population into doing yoga, it would be a so much better place. I wouldn't doubt it. 10%, 1% is a lot, but still 10%, it's a progress. And that's kind of the thing that I would hope to do. Anyway, let me pause it and let me add another video. I'll be right back. Alright, welcome back, and here's the other one. 3 tips to become wise. Let's go and get started.
All of us want to know. All of us want to learn. All of us want to grow. After all, we as human beings have been given the special gift of an evolved intelligence. An intelligence that can question. An intelligence that can seek answers. An intelligence that can find solutions, that can look for meaning. Someone recently asked me, how does one acquire wisdom? I told him there are so many ways of looking at it. But here are 3 ways that can help us to live up to our human potential.
How does one acquire wisdom? I said there's 2 ways. The easy way and then the hard way. For those of you who've been here a long time, you know what I mean. And if you have not been here, let me know what you think. What do you think the easy way is and what the hard way is? Leave it in the comments below. I'm curious, by just saying that alone, how to acquire wisdom. What is the easy way to acquire wisdom and what is the hard way to acquire wisdom? Let me know.
Number 1, epics. There are so many epic literatures available in the world. There is so much knowledge and wisdom that so many learned individuals from different walks of life have put down on paper. Reading expands the scope of our worldview. It broadens the horizons of our knowledge. It deepens our understanding of life. I love what Descartes said. The reading of all good books is like conversation with the finest people of the past centuries. So guys, pick up a good book and start reading. Number 2, experts. We have people who have given their life to study a particular subject. We have people who have given their life to study life. We have people who have lived by what they profess. They've gone through their ups and downs. They have had their struggles. They have had their empty moments. They won some battles and they lost some battles. But it seems that at the end of the day, they did win the war. They have substance, they have depth, they have realization. They have learned a lot from life, from their successes, from their failures, from their mistakes. And they are walking, talking encyclopedias. Look for such experts. Listen to them. Learn from what they did right, what they did wrong. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And then apply what you've learned to your particular situation. His Holiness the Dalai Lama once said, when you talk, you're only repeating what you know. But when you listen, you may learn something new. So guys, start listening. And number 3.
And real quick, obviously, this just to go with what he said there about listening to experts and whatnot. Absolutely, I'd say consider people's words. Do not take it as absolute fact. Always fact checked, and don't always fact check on your favorite websites. Make sure you go to opposing websites, and of course, how do I say, reputable websites. But don't think your favorite website to be reputable. But yes, always consider what people say. Never take it as absolutely facts. And what else? That's about it, I guess. Fact check, fact check, fact check. Don't go to your favorite websites. Listen to what people say. Consider them, and you ultimately make the decision whether you want to follow their advice or not.
Experience. Reading the epics and listening to the experts is they sharing their experience with you. It's definitely enriching, but it's still not yours. It becomes yours only when you apply what you've learned. You then learn from your mistakes. You learn from what you did right. You learn from what was missed out. You learn from your shortcomings. And then you have your own experience. Oscar Wilde said, experience is the hardest kind of teacher. It gives you the test first and the lesson afterward. Let's go through our tests and learn our lessons from them. There is no substitute to maturity and experience. I told this gentleman, you want wisdom's right, sir? Epics plus experts plus experience is equal to wisdom.
Well, I would not disagree with him. He's absolutely right. That is very true. You know, I guess he kind of spoiled my learn the easy way and learn the hard ways. I put it in very simplistic terms. Essentially, if you haven't written down, you can pause it now, and then okay, I'm going to say it now in 3, 2, 1. Learning the easy way is by reading books, learning from people, observing people, watching what they do and the mistakes they've made. The hard way is you learning it and you making the mistakes and you getting hurt and learning I shouldn't have touched electricity or something along those lines. And that's the hard way. A lot of people, and you know, he talked about how learning from your mistakes. Hopefully, You learn from your mistakes. There are still some people out there who cannot learn from their mistakes. And there's another thing he said. But yes, there's not too many people. I mean, there's hopefully everyone learns from their mistakes. I would say you learn more from failing than you do from succeeding, because when you succeed, you literally just did the things that you already knew for the most part. And for failing, you know exactly what not to do the next time, and sometimes you do figure out what you should have done instead. Generally speaking, you learn more from your failures than your success. But nonetheless, you should always try to learn as much as possible. Anyways, very wise advice again, Gaur does, that talks about just very easy life lessons that I think everyone can relate to, and sometimes need a little bit of a reminder of the things that we should already have known about. Anyways, that's my reaction to Gaur does. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.